I went to see Steven Spielberg's Ready Player One the other night. I didn't plan on going because, well, for one, I never read the Ernest Cline novel. I know, shocking, right? A book about video games and pop culture that skyrocketed up the bestseller list and I didn't read it? Pfft, imagine. And it didn't help that I kept hearing not so positive things about the movie. I kept seeing articles talking about the culture of the movie, the changes from the book, this backlash to the book, why the movie was broken, etc. and so forth. But my buddy Jeff texted me and said, "Hey, have you seen Ready Player One yet?" I was like, "Nah." He's like, "Wanna go?" I'm like, "Okay." And you know what? Review sites and aggregate sites, they could suck it. Because Ready Player One was one enjoyable film. And I just couldn't keep myself from screaming out, "Holy shit," and "nice," constantly. I mean, you can ask Jeff. I don't think he's going to be seeing another movie with me anytime soon. The thing is, though, with Ready Player One, whether or not it's a good book, and like I said, I don't know and I don't plan on finding out anytime soon. And despite the fact that I was smiling my way right through that entire video, there are a lot of problems with it, especially the script. And the fun cameos, the fun nods, the great technical work that was done to create that film, they don't all make up for what is really just a lackluster experience. Now, I don't care that Ready Player One isn't a deep film. A film doesn't need to be deep to be a classic. And I'm not saying Ready Player One is going to be a classic. I don't know. It's too soon to tell. I probably don't think it will be, but you never know what's going to be a classic. And a film doesn't really need to have, these 1,000 layers of narrative convolution to even be a good film. I mean, some of my favorite movies of all time are not deep films. They're surprisingly simple. I mean, look at Raiders of the Lost Ark. Fight the Nazis, survive the traps, get the Ark. Goonies, fight the Fratellis, survive the traps, get Willie's treasure. Jaws, fight the shark, survive the shark, get the shark. Point is, none of that matters. The story can be simple if it's told well, if it's acted well, if everything just kind of comes together to form this nice, bright, great nugget of cinema. That didn't happen here. For one, the hero's arc is entirely formulaic. He goes from rags to riches, from loner to lover and leader. We've seen all this before. It's the standard hero's journey, and we're gonna see it again. It's gonna be done till hell freezes over. It's just that great piece of cinema. But in Ready Player One, it just didn't quite work. The thing is, it's just not all that interesting here, and some of the feats they don't feel earned, frankly. The romance, in particular, is so forced down our throat. I'm surprised that they didn't try to equate it with some other Aliens cameo. And I never really found good reason to root for Parzival, which is a weird name, by the way. But I never felt like, oh, I want to see him succeed. I never felt that throughout the entire book. And that may just be because he never really does anything, at least until about the end of the film, and he makes a nice little grand speech and he reunites everybody. That was nice. But until that moment, he doesn't do anything. He doesn't exude those leadership qualities. So it never really... It's not understandable why people are kind of flocking to him and teaming up with him, other than the fact that he, by chance, figures out how to get the first key. It's just not there. And second off, we get these villains that are just not well defined. Sorrento, I mean, he's a high-end corporate stooge who just wants to take over the Oasis so he can turn it into an advertiser's wet dream. Which, he's an idiot, because as we've seen in the last couple of years, that's not what gamers want. They don't want ads in their faces all the time. They don't want things trying to be sold to them. They want to make their own choices about what to buy. They want to think that they are deciding where and when to spend their money. They don't want to be inundated with crap. I mean, we've seen EA suffer from this endlessly the last couple of years. And not just them, but all sorts of companies. Loot boxes have come and gone. They would have figured this out in 40 years. 20 years? What year was it? 2040? They would have figured it out, hopefully. by then, hopefully. But even if they didn't, players are going to find an alternative. They're going to go find the place that is not inundated with ads. They're going to find their outlet, no matter where it is. And your advertisers are just going to dry up and be worthless. And, you know, you're going to die. Your company's going to go down in tubes. The other villain, IROC, what was the point of him? He was not round in the least. He's just a nice, flat character there to be some kind of Punisher-like threat throughout the film. The most we got out of him was when he was afraid to die and lose all of his riches at the end of the film. And he didn't even get, like, a good final scene. He just got wiped with everybody else. We did not see where he was going to go. And, you know, let me get back to the money thing in a second, but this also plays into another issue with the movie is the ending is entirely there to set up the sequel. The inevitable sequel, if you ask me. I mean, again, what happens to IROC after he's blown up? What is that giant red button for? Does it really turn off the Oasis? Why isn't it in, like, a cupboard, a locked cupboard, where you can't accidentally trip and fall on it and delete everything? Why is it just next to the door where you might rest your hand? What is Halliday? You know, what is he? Is he an avatar? Is he an AI that was programmed into the program? Is he the life force? What's going on there? We don't get any answers to that. We see Parzival take over the Oasis with his little team at the end. What is the reaction to shutting down the Oasis 2 days a week? Is that just like giving everybody a weekend? Or is that like crippling the economy? Because, and going back to the last point, the economy makes zero sense. We see people order Pizza Hut or Domino's or whatever it is that little drone is dropping off at the beginning. We see Parzival order this suit that somebody thought would be brilliant to be able to get kicked digitally in the nuts and feel it in the real world. That was smart thinking. But he orders that with completely digital money and it comes to him in real life. So as far as I can tell, the economy all revolves around this game and digital items within this game. But how does that actually work? Sure, we have gill farmers and coin farmers in real life, but they spend their time getting money to sell to other people to get the real world cash. I guess if all of your money is tied to the Oasis, it might work. But what is everybody doing? Who are the people that pack up that suit and ship it out? Where are the Amazons, the Walmarts? Where does that exist? Are those all people within the detention centers? What are they called? The loyalty centers? Is that who does that? Do they do all of the actual work that's going on while everybody else is just doing raids and, you know, surfing and going to this digital library? Because I tell you what, if that is work in the future, count me in. That is awesome. I would much rather be doing that than sitting in a cubicle any day of the week. You know what? None of this matters. Everything I just said, it doesn't matter. This movie is not going to be remembered for its writing. Just like all those other ones I mentioned earlier are not remembered for their writing. They're remembered for the experience, for the emotions that we felt while watching them. And in years to come, Ready Player One is going to be remembered, or not, for those exact experiences, for the smiles that it gave us, for the joy at seeing our favorite cultural icons not just revisited, but re-celebrated. What we'll remember will be the joy of watching the Iron Giant kick ass. Then, you know, it giving us that Terminator thumbs up goodbye. Or the Spartans running to the rescue. Those, what I think are Krogans, dashing across the battlefield. Blood pouring from the shining elevator. That Goro alien disguise that I mentioned earlier. The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. That was awesome. The Serenity, flying high, looking just super majestic. Tracer, who I know everybody was excited for, but I don't even know who that is. Chucky. The Chucky scene was fantastic. Canada's motorcycle. The DeLorean. And, you know, countless dozens, hundreds, millions, thousands of others. I don't know how many they were able to stash into this movie, but I know it was a lot. And you know, somebody had a damn good time doing all of that. That's what we're going to remember. the smiles that we felt, the times that we said, holy shit, nice. That's what we're going to remember about this movie. And you know what? I want more of that. I want to see another Ready Player One. I want to see one with Star Wars, with Marvel, with all the Disneys. I want to see The Last of Us in there, Crash Bandicoot, Sonic the Hedgehog, all the Enterprise. I know Star Trek was visited in this one, but I want to see all the Enterprises up in there. I want to see Independence Day. I want to see Blade Runner, BioShock. I want it all in there. I want everything in there. I want it all celebrated. I want everybody to find the thing that they love the most and it be in there somewhere and be integral to the plot. And I want it to be wrapped around the kind of script that just blows our minds off. I want it to be the sequel to end all sequels. And, you know, I think it's possible. I think we could get that. You know, maybe I was a little critical on this movie a little earlier because there is at least one piece of good writing. As terrifying and painful as reality can be, it's also the only place where you can find true happiness. Because reality is real. And it's a beautiful thing. This has been Drunk on Writing. If you enjoyed that, you know, please subscribe. Head on over to patreon.com/drunkonwriting and maybe watch another video. Or you know what? Don't. Go off of YouTube. Go enjoy reality. It's real.